Let Me Die Alone by Kolosa Kargbo. The play explores the topical issues of colonialism, gender discrimination, betrayal, excessive desire for power, suicide, homicide, human sacrifice, and others. These issues further accentuate the artistic quality and social relevance of the play. Let Me Die Alone sums up the prevalence of betrayal in a typical African traditional society. Its setting is Senihu and Muyomba of the Mende Kingdom. The play brings to prevalence the evils and disasters of the desperation for power, and the infidelity of one's trusted persons can cause conflicts to the society at large. There is a reflection of the evil of excessive power. Musa and Lamboy are blinded by the inordinate crave for power. They decide to betray two successive kings. They are also directly involved in the murders of both Banya and Geneva, and by extension, the suicidal death of Yoko. The play opens with a love-making scene between Banya, the chief of Senihu, and Yoko, his favorite among his 37 wives. A guard interrupts their romance with a message that the colonial governor is on his way to Senihu. This kind of meeting is unusual. Banya quickly summons a meeting of his warriors, as he suspects that it might have something to do with the boys he hired out to John Kolka to fight against his brother George. Yoko senses that her husband is in trouble, and he confirms that he is unwell and even fears to sleep at night because of the constant visit of his ancestors to him in his dreams, imploring him to join them soon. It dawns on Banya that his end is imminent. Yoko suggests sacrifices to ensure a peaceful journey, believing that he will not die without honor. Banya prepares to receive his enemy, the governor, with the greatest of gifts, but his wife, Yoko, thinks differently. The warrior must be put on the alert to forestall my eventualities. She reminds him further of his promise to hand over the chiefdom to her after his death. Unfortunately, Banya wants to resign this promise. Banya objects vehemently to this arrangement. He lays claim to the fact that Mende land is in a state of chaos and disorder. It needs a man to right the wrongs. We encounter Musa and Lamboy next. Those two are presumably members of Banya's administration. Lamboy, who wants to become the chief, seeks for the cooperation of Musa in killing Banya. At first, Musa refuses to oblige to Lamboy's evil agenda. He later accepts to help Lamboy when he threatens to reveal his secret of human sacrifices. Yoko, on the other hand, insists on becoming the next chief of the kingdom. She reminds her husband of his promise to hand over the chiefdom to her after his death. Unfortunately, when the time is approaching, the husband wants to make a U-turn. She insists and questions him on his sincerity and the betrayal, having encouraged her not to bear children because of the prerequisite initiation into the male Koro cult before she can become a king. She complied, and now, at the verge of old age, she is being abandoned. Banya prefers to hand over the chiefdom to Ndapi, but Yoko will not want to share her bed with Ndapi, as custom demands that a new king inherits the wife of the old one. Yoko also draws his attention to the different women who have reigned successfully over the chiefdoms. For many years, women such as Yoya, Kima of Galu, Fangawa of Wando, Pandagbelo of Lepiama, Woki of Tunkia, and Nancy Kolka in Sheboland. Gbanya agrees that they are good rulers and also good lovers in bed, and drags her to the bed to show him how good she is too. Lamboy is equally interested in taking over the chiefdom from Gbanya, but fears that his sister Yoko may succeed to persuade and compel her husband to hand over the chiefdom to her. He therefore connived with Musa, the snare, and the medicine man through blackmail to plot the death of Gbanya before he makes any commitment to Yoko. They both strategize and resolve to lure Gbanya to the Poro bush after the governor's visit to drink from a medicine bottle poisoned with a gall of alligator. Final preparations to receive the governor are underway. Gbanya wants to give 5 fat cows, 5 fat rams, and a sheep as a present to the governor. Lamboy thinks they are too much for Governor Rowe, but the chief insists. Musa prepares the chief's mind to visit the Poro bush after the governor's visit, so they can carry out their evil plots to kill Gbanya. Gbanya announces that his elaborate reception for the governor is to sue for peace and protect his people from senseless killings. The governor arrives and accuses the chief of sending his warriors to fight on John Kolka's side against his brother, which the governor sees as a direct affront against his order that there should be no fighting or war among the people. Gbanya continues to deny the accusation, but the governor humiliates him by ordering him and his soldiers to stretch out on the ground, and he beats them with a whip. The chief is equally fined to pay 50 pounds in equivalents of cattle and rice. The governor and his team left. Lamboy and Musa cash in on this development to give the chief a poisoned drink to kill him, pretending it is meant to relieve his pain. On realizing that death is inevitable, Gbanya curses his killers and instructs Yoko, who just comes in, to take in charge of the chiefdom. Lamboy tries to persuade her out of the idea of becoming a chief because she has to join the Poro cult, which will consequently prevent her from bearing children. But she insists she is ready to be chief. She mourns her husband, and she is coronated as the next ruler of the Mende kingdom. In the following scenes, there is a rapid growth in Yoko's power, with her servitude to the governor and the expansion of her chiefdom. We witness a shift in her government seat from Senehu to Moyamba. We also witness the infidelity of Jilo to Ndapi. Jilo is involved in an extramarital affair with Lansana. Ndapi, the chief warrior, is portrayed as a woman beater, one who maltreats his wife. Jilo will later seek solace in her affair with Lansana. Their only daughter, Jennifer by name, is a very sharp young girl who visits the palace frequently. Yoko, who has had enough power, already wishes she can switch places with one of these attendants. Being a poorer woman, Yoko cannot conceive. She wishes she is a mother instead of a queen. While this is on, Musa and Lamboy do not relent in their ploy to eliminate Yoko and take the kingdom for themselves. They marvel at how Yoko has successfully managed the affairs of the chiefdom and her dexterity of maintaining a good diplomatic relationship with the governor. They decide to kill Jennifer and incite the people against Yoko. And Dapi, on the other hand, catches an unsuspecting Jilo during one of her numerous escapades with Lansana. He drags her to the palace. Yoko promises to deal severely with them. Yoko, after that, embarks on a state visit to the governor's place. Before her journey, Geneva is kidnapped by Musa and Lamboy. As a start of their nefarious activities, Yoko orders a mount of search team to unravel the mystery surrounding the disappearance of Geneva. While she is away, Musa and Lamboy's plan soon comes to reality. They kill Geneva and impress the people into believing that Yoko is guilty, and Yoko is the evildoer here. They poison their minds and made them to believe Yoko is a bad person. On her arrival back from the governor's place, Yoko is called several names. She is called a witch and a murderer. Yoko is baffled by the people's sudden change in attitude towards her. She is more confused when Ndapi questions her legitimacy. When she realizes she has been accused of having buried Geneva alive to sustain her power and allow good fortunes for the governor to come to her, she denies having a hand in Geneva's disappearance and pleads innocent. Ndapi will not listen to her anymore. Rather, he attributes her heartlessness to her inability to give birth. Fortunately for the queen, the dead body of Geneva is found mutilated. Her heart and private parts was cut off. Everyone realized that Yoko has been wrongly accused, and Ndapi in particular tries to make amends for the humiliations he has made her go through. Yoko announces that she will unravel the mystery surrounding the death of Geneva. After a thorough investigation, she discovers that Lambo and Musa are the causes of Geneva's death, and Ndapi attempts to go after them, but Yoko reminds him of the consequences of their actions. The messenger is then introduced. He has come to dispatch information from the governor to Yoko. Despite his big vocabulary, it is discovered that he belongs to poorer society as well. The governor instructs Yoko to relinquish her conquered territories. This is the last straw that broke the camel's back. Yoko realizes she has been overwhelmed by depression, a disease of the mind. The messenger who brought information to the queen has been stopped from entering by the guards because only initiates and members are admitted into the shrine. But Yoko clears the messenger as a member and he gains access to her. He brings a message to reduce the territorial control of the queen, and she is very upset by this and sees it as a disgrace. On hearing this, she sends Lorelei for some herbs, which he sends to her through a guard. She gives it to Musa to prepare as usual into a thick concoction. Queen Yoko turns back to the messenger to express her displeasure over the boundary demarcation. After her long years of service and loyalty to the governor, this manner of reward is least expected. She feels used and insulted and sends strong words back to the governor. And Ndapi and Jilo come to seek forgiveness from the queen, claiming they were misled by Lamboy and Musa. The queen will hear none of these apologies. She recalls that her husband once told her that behind every set of white teeth, there lurks an evil plotting mind. She dismisses the couple and the messenger. The concoction is ready, and Musa suspects that it has been poisoned and wanted to drink it first before the queen. Yoko says, "No, let me die alone," because she has enjoyed the fruit of power alone, known and enjoyed the grandeur of high office alone. She drinks the poison to die and avoid humiliation of her power being wilted down by the governor. In death, she hopes to find peace and never to be used again. She connects with the noble ancestors of the land to receive her. She slams to the ground and sends words to the entire chiefdom not to be mourned, as she did not bring a child to this world. She dies and a dirge rises.